Streaming live now on News8000.com. You're watching WKBT La Crosse. This is News 8 Now, this weekend.
Good evening, and thank you for watching News 8 Now this Sunday. I'm Emily Haugen. The November midterms are just weeks away, and candidates in Wisconsin are intensifying efforts to get their messages to voters this weekend. Candidates for governor and the U.S. Senate held campaign stops. And as Frank Healy reports from Milwaukee, some candidates spent significant time addressing campaign ads.
In the morning, Democrats met in Milwaukee at the Washington Park Senior Center. Mandela Barnes spoke about supporting union work and protecting elections. He defended himself from claims made by ads from Ron Johnson that he wants to defund police, saying he wants them to have the money and training that they need. Barnes voiced his opposition to the cash bail system, saying Johnson is misrepresenting his views.
He is misrepresenting the issue. He's mischaracterizing an issue that Democrats and Republicans have come together to support all across this country. And again, the commercials they are running are disgusting.
At the Wisconsin 1st District Republican Fall Fest, Senator Johnson spoke about wanting better border security and stopping inflation and drug overdoses. He defended what his ads say about Barnes and denied accusations that he wants to defund Social Security.
What elected official would ever say that? I certainly wouldn't. I don't want to do it. I want to save Social Security. What I'm trying to point out is the greatest threat to any government program is our massive out-of-control deficits.
Back at the Wisconsin Senior Center, Tony Evers says he's hoping supporting a woman's right to choose will be a motivating factor for undecided voters he says will be attracted to his Wisconsin-focused platforms.
Education, infrastructure, fixing the roads, those type of things that supersede Democratic and Republican world.
Michaels spoke in Racine County as well. Abortion was not something he brought up. Instead, he advocated for statewide school choice legislation, criticized critical race theory and Evers for not working with the legislature, and early prison release programs.
He made a pledge that he was going to cut in half the prison population. Unfortunately, he's well on his way to doing it. He has released 900 convicted felons.
Frank Healy, CBS 58 News.
Michaels did not address abortion in the Racine County event, but he did recently change his stance on the issue after previously stating he would not support exceptions to the state's 1849 abortion ban. Michaels a few days ago told a Wisconsin talk radio host that he would sign a bill that includes exceptions for rape and incest. Governor Evers has pushed to overturn the state's abortion ban entirely. National polls say abortion is a higher priority among likely Democratic voters this election season. Poll data from CBS News finds that 68% of those voters believe their rights and freedoms are at stake in this election. And 43% of registered voters believe if Republicans control Congress, women will have fewer rights and freedoms. Most registered Republican voters believe loyalty to former President Trump is important. Plus, voter engagement looks high across party lines. 70% or higher of registered voters in each group say they will definitely vote on November 8th.
Wow, what a day today. We had temperatures again in the 60s and 70s, made it to 72 in La Crosse. 67 was the high in Viroqua. Decorah made it to 68. Prairie du Chien made it to 73. Boscobel made it to 71. Eau Claire as well as Winona made it to 70 degrees, and that's where you guys are at right now. Actually, it's just updated. You're seeing temperatures now in the mid to upper 60s, 68 in Winona, 67 in Eau Claire. We're sitting at 70 in La Crosse. 69 is the current temperature in Sparta. Double Nickel, 55 in Volkfield, and that is a rain-cooled 55 degrees. You can see that rain that pushed through portions of Juneau and Adams County. That's since pushed its way out of there. It's going across portions of I-90. You can see here over towards the Poinette area, seeing some heavy rain over towards just to the east of the Dells. So this was the system that pushed its way through. Now, if you have any evening plans for tonight, we'll see temperatures staying in the mid 60s by the 7 o'clock hour. We'll see temperatures in the upper 50s by the time you join us at 10. And then by the 11 o'clock hour, we'll see temperatures staying in the 50s. Now, Emily, coming up in the first forecast, we're going to talk about temperatures staying below normal. We'll kind of reach normal, and then I'll have a sneak peek of your Oktoberfest weekend forecast. So definitely do not want to miss that.
Looking forward to it. Thanks, Eric. La Crosse's Oktoberfest is just a few days away, and 2 area residents are already starting the week off on a high note. After just 6 clues, the lucky hunters, Kevin Jefferson and Hannah Bauer, found this year's medallion Saturday morning near Grandad Bluff. The couple takes home a $500 cash prize, Oktoberfest buttons, a mini replica of the medallion, and an Oktoberfest stein. They say this was their first year actively looking for it, and the 4th and 5th clues helped them zero in on the bluff.
It was hard. It was hidden, off the trail and in the kind of the V of a tree, and just like I said, got lucky.
Oktoberfest kicks off on Thursday with a craft beer night and the Torchlight Parade. And a tradition honoring one of Wisconsin's most important products is celebrating 49 years this weekend. The Warrens Cranberry Festival wrapped up its weekend of fun this afternoon with a parade through town. This is the state's largest cranberry festival. Every year, more than 120,000 people come from all over the world to take in the displays. Festival organizers say future first-timers should be ready for a great time.
We've got places to sit and places to just kind of hang out with your family and have a bite to eat and what's going on. Next year, like I say, is our 50th, so it's going to be a big bash.
The festival includes cranberry marsh tours, a farmer's market, food booths, and plenty of options for shopping. CranFest brings in more than $4 million to Monroe County each year. And a heads up for visitors to West Salem's Veterans Memorial Park. You may have to dodge some construction. The highway commissioner says the work on the roadway starts tomorrow and is expected to last 4 to 6 weeks. The park won't be shut down at any point during the work, but there will be sections closed to car traffic between 6 in the morning and 4 in the afternoon, Mondays through Thursdays. Those hours could change. If you have any questions, we'll post the contact information for the highway commissioner at news8000.com. Out in New York today, men and women in firefighter gear are honoring the first responders who gave their lives on September 11th. The annual New York Tunnel to Towers 5K and Walk is a yearly fundraiser that retraces the route of off-duty firefighter Steven Siller, who ran through a blocked-off Brooklyn Battery tunnel to the Twin Towers, where he was killed. First responders who walked say coming out of the tunnel is a feeling that's hard to describe.
That emotional moment of realizing the faces of people that went into the towers just to never come out. I explained to my oldest son, he's up here with me, coming out of that tunnel is it's inspirational and it brings it home real quick.
The annual event raises money to help families who lost loved ones in the line of duty. Coming up after the break, wallets feeling the pressure. Wall Street's difficult week is raising concerns over a recession. And if you've ever thought about getting an electric car, local experts are ready to answer your questions.
When we got pregnant with Lizzie, we were so excited. So when the complications started, it was really scary.
We never considered ending the pregnancy, but those are the kinds of decisions only a family can make. But Derek Van Orden wants the government to do it, banning all abortions, even when a woman's life is at risk.
I'm Betty.
I'm Lizzie.
And I'm Brad Paff. I approve this message because I'll never stop fighting for your right to choose.
Meet a doctor who connects all the dots.
Oftentimes, people with low back pain, knee pain, or hip pain don't even recognize that it's actually coming from their feet.
Their feet? For real?
Absolutely, 100%. It can have a domino effect because their foot and their ankle aren't supported properly. Their whole body is out of whack.
Getting back into whack? Good Feet arch supports could help.
Keeping your body in good alignment, that can go a long way.
Come in for your free fitting at the Good Feet store.
Perkins burger, fries, and pie combos are back, starting at just $10.99. Mix and match any of our 100% Angus beef burgers, like our barbecue Tangler burger, breakfast burger, and the all-new Smokehouse Bacon Double Cheeseburger. Served with crispy fries and a slice of any of our famous Perkins pies. And don't forget to order seasonal treats from our bakery, like our fresh-baked pumpkin pies and muffins. Order online at perkinstogo.com.
Prices are going up on groceries, they're going up at the gas station. The only ones profiting are oil companies, big corporations, China, and Ron Johnson. Johnson makes money from investments and factories in China. No wonder Johnson's net worth has doubled since he's been in Washington. Even worse, Johnson's allowed oil and drug companies to jack up prices on us. He takes all that money from them. Ron Johnson profits, we pay the price. SMP is responsible for the content of this ad.
Risks of a recession are on the rise after a rough week on Wall Street, with the Dow dropping to its lowest point of the year. CBS's Michael George has more on how it affects your money.
When the closing bell rang Friday, the news wasn't good. The Dow dropped 486 points to its lowest level since late 2020. All this as inflation is hurting Americans at every turn.
Inflation, gas prices, fuel, it's all up.
Since last year, new car prices are up 10%, food is up 8%, and electricity up 15%. While oil prices fell to an 8-month low and gas prices have dropped in recent months, they're still too high for Maryland Park in San Mateo, California.
It makes me think twice before I drive out of the way.
In Pinellas, Florida, graphic designer David Zidlick says his rent rose so much he had to give up his home. Now he lives in a tent set up as a temporary shelter.
Literally a short conversation on a Sunday afternoon completely changed my life.
The Federal Reserve hiked interest rates again this week in an effort to cut inflation by slowing the economy. But that also means higher credit card interest and mortgage rates. D.C. realtor Tiffany Renwick says she's seeing lower-income Americans look for alternatives.
People are actually looking at sharing homes. I've seen a lot of people go back to, the roommate layout, and sometimes that's exactly where you are.
Holiday travel is also expected to cost more. Experts say you may want to book now before prices rise even higher. La Crosse's electric car and bike owners want you to think electric for getting around. To kick off the 12th annual National Drive Electric Week, area electric vehicle owners answered questions in an Ask Me About My EV event. La Crosse's MTU also showcased one of its new electric buses, and companies shared how to fuel your EV with solar energy. Organizers say EVs are here to stay, and they want to help prospective owners feel more comfortable about making the switch.
There are quite a few here that were bought used, so we can give you advice about shopping for a used EV. They're quiet, they don't smell, you don't have to get an oil change or have your muffler looked at.
National Drive Electric Week includes more than 200 online and in-person events across the country. Still to come, severe storms continue to strike North America. The latest on evacuations in Canada and the storm Florida is now bracing for.
And in the world of weather, we had temperatures in the 60s and 70s today. That trend's going to continue for the next several, but I will talk about your Oktoberfest forecast coming up on the other side of the break. Stay with us.
They're destroying America and our livelihoods. Now, DC elites are spending big on Brad Paff. The same Beltway bigwigs who wasted taxpayer money that bailed out elite golf courses and luxury hotels are now bankrolling Brad Paff's campaign because Brad Paff supported their big spending, price-hiking, reckless schemes. And that's why we can't send him to Washington. Congressional Leadership Fund is responsible for the content of this advertising.
With the right tools and a little hard work, you can do it yourself. And with the right kind of paint, you can finish the job faster. Pittsburgh Paints and Stains exceeds your expectations with products that can cover your walls in one coat. So instead of another coat of paint, you can finally get outside. One coat paint means time better spent. Pittsburgh Paints and Stains, exclusively at Menards.
La Crosse Glass and Overhead Doors has been selling, servicing, and installing garage doors since 1964 and believe garage doors should be exceptional quality and craftsmanship. We guarantee to help you select a door to fit all of your needs. We offer a large stock inventory of CHI overhead doors, including residential, commercial, rolling steel, and high-speed doors. Visit our website and design the door of your dreams with CHI Door Visions. Get your free quote today.
To everyone who loves great food, let us make you a meal the Wisconsin way.
We cook each butter burger to order for you and the people you love, so it's the best part of your day.
The best.
The best.
And every creamy scoop of fresh frozen custard, pure happiness. Pure happiness.
Pure happiness. Because where Culver's comes from.
And the heart of America's Dairyland. Our love.
Our love for fresh food is as strong as our love for all of you.
From Wisconsin with love.
Welcome to Delicious.
Ron Johnson's at it again, lying about my taxes. Let's be clear, my taxes are paid in full, but there were times I was getting by on peanut butter sandwiches. And that's why I support a tax cut for the middle class. Put more money in your pockets, because I know how hard you work. But Johnson used his Senate seat to write a loophole that gave huge tax cuts to himself and its biggest donors, leaving us with crumbs. And that's how we get left behind. I'm Mandela Barnes, and I approve this message.
More than 500,000 people in eastern Canada were left without power after Fiona landed as a powerful post-tropical cyclone Saturday. As Bradley Blackburn reports, Florida is preparing for the threat of another gathering storm.
When it slammed into Canada Saturday, Fiona was no longer a hurricane, but it still packed a punch. Storm surge swept homes into the sea and forced many families to evacuate.
There are hundreds of people displaced right now. So the first step that's occurring is emergency shelter for those residents who are without a home.
The storm washed out roads and toppled trees and power lines, leaving 80% of residents in Nova Scotia without electricity.
There are live wires on some of these poles. We do not need people out just cruising around the streets.
In the Caribbean, recovery is still underway after Fiona struck last week. A team of 75 state troopers from New Jersey headed to Puerto Rico Saturday to assist with relief efforts. More than half of the island is still without power. And now Tropical Storm Ian is gathering strength with Florida in its sights next week. Already, people are stocking up on bottled water, lining up for gas, and filling up sandbags.
Hoping that it doesn't happen, but I've been through several. So just trying to get prepared ahead of time.
The National Hurricane Center says Ian could strengthen into a major hurricane, threatening western Florida and the Panhandle by the middle of next week. Bradley Blackburn, CBS News.
Florida Governor Ron DeSantis has expanded a state of emergency and also activated the Florida National Guard. Well, let's switch over to meteorologist Eric Dean for the latest from the skies.
Hey, that's right, everybody. Take a look here at the tropics. And the big story, like we just mentioned, is Tropical Storm Ian. The winds are at 45 miles per hour. The location is 220 miles south-southeast of Grand Cayman. And this is the latest track. You see right here, it goes into a hurricane by Monday morning, Category 2 by Tuesday. Then it goes into a Cat 4 by Wednesday morning. It looks like it's going to hit Florida as a strong Category 2 or a weak Category 3 by Thursday. So this is something that we really have to keep an eye on over the next several days. Now, outside in La Crosse, we're seeing a temperature of 70. We're at 69 at the TV station. Dew point's 41. Humidity's at 35%, so it's very dry out there. Winds are out of the west-northwest at 25 miles per hour. Made it to 72 after a morning start of 58. That 72 is where we should be for this time of year anyway. 89 was the record high. You have to go all the way back to 1920 to see that. 30 was the record low, so back in 1926. Other temperatures across the area in the 60s and 70s. Eau Claire, good evening to you guys. You're at 67 degrees. We're seeing a temperature of 70 in La Crosse, 66 in Decorah, 65 Preston, 66 in Rochester. Double Nichols, 55 in Volk Field, 69 is the current temperature in Sparta. So the first alert forecast for the evening and overnight hours will go to 48 degrees with mostly clear skies and a nice light breeze with winds out of the northwest at 10 to 15 miles per hour, gusting as high as 25 miles per hour. For your Monday to start the work week, we'll see temperatures in the upper 50s to low 60s as a front pushes its way through. We'll stay mostly sunny, but that wind's going to continue out of the northwest at around 10 to 15 miles per hour. And here's how we get there. We start the day off with temperatures in the upper 40s to low 50s by the 8 o'clock hour. By the 2 o'clock hour, we see partly cloudy skies with temperatures hovering right around 60 degrees. Then by the 8 o'clock hour, we see temperatures again cooling off with temperatures in the upper 40s, low 50s. So for Monday, there's that northwesterly flow I was talking about, and keep an eye on that wind as we go into your Monday morning and afternoon hours. Again, it will start to pick up by the 9 o'clock time frame. By noon, anywhere between 10 to 15 miles per hour, and then it's going to dwindle down as we go into Monday night, early Tuesday morning. The radar scan right now, we have a little bit of thunderstorm activity just to the south and east of us over towards the Madison area. That's where a severe thunderstorm warning is in effect until 6 o'clock this evening. But around the Cooley region right now, we have a clean sweep. That was a different story about an hour ago as we had a line of thunderstorms push through portions of Juneau and Adams County. So let's go ahead and take a look here now at the breakdown over the next 8 days. We got a 59 for Tuesday, 58 for Wednesday. Oktoberfest weekend. Look at this. 63 for Thursday, 66 Friday, 68 for Saturday with abundant sunshine. Then we stay in the 60s for Sunday. going into Monday. So the next 8 days, Emily, we have abundant sunshine. Temperatures stay well below normal.
I'm loving this fall weather.
You and me both.
All right, thanks, Eric.
You bet.
Coming up next in sports, the Packers are facing off against the Buccaneers, and the Brewers are still trying to stay alive in the wild card race.
CityCam 8 is brought to you by the Board Store. A new entry door is like a smile on the face of your home. As the only Provia Platinum dealer in the area, the Board Store can help you design the door that welcomes you home.
At a company, the culture comes from the top. Tim Michaels' company has been sued numerous times over sexual assault and harassment in the workplace. Women who worked for Michaels' company said they were groped, assaulted, and pressured to have sex with their bosses. Higher-ups at Michaels dismissed the women as liars and even fired those who spoke out. Is that what we need for Wisconsin? Tim Michaels, too radical, too divisive.
Violent crime up across Wisconsin. Families nervous about their safety. Yet Mandela Barnes called for releasing half of Wisconsin's jailed inmates. That would mean releasing over 10,000 criminals right into our neighborhoods. 10,000 reasons your family would be in more danger. Barnes also supported defunding the police. 10,000 more criminals with fewer police to protect us. What could go wrong? Wisconsin Truth Bank is responsible for the content of this advertising.
It's dangerous up here, and it's no fun shopping around for a reputable contractor. I've built my company on the promise to treat our customers like we would our own family. That means an honest, no-pressure sales experience, expert craftsmanship, and a lifetime guarantee of our work. Over the past 15 years, my team has installed thousands of maintenance-free gutter systems in the Rochester and La Crosse area. And we'd love to show you what Gutter Shutter can do for you and your home, but most importantly, keep you safe and off that ladder. So call today for a free estimate.
Joe Biden on Medicare for All.
It's going to raise taxes on middle-class people.
Medicare for All would double your income taxes, ban employer-provided and union health plans, and bankrupt Medicare for seniors. Mandela Barnes still supports Bernie Sanders' socialist takeover of your health care.
Medicare for All is the easiest way to get us to universal health care.
Mandela Barnes, more liberal than Joe Biden, way too liberal for Wisconsin.
I'm Ron Johnson, and I approve this message.
Covering all of the exciting action from your community, here's News 8 Now Sports.
It's NFL Sunday, and I know most of you are curious about the Packers, and actually so am I, because that game is going on right now, and it's coming down to the wire. We talked about it all week. The Packers down in Tampa Bay. It's a Rodgers versus Brady matchup, and it's just the 5th time these two have faced each other, and it's living up to the hype. Well, sort of. This one's currently 14-6. Rodgers started this game 12 for 13 with 2 touchdowns, one to Allen Lazard and one to Romeo Doubs, but the offense has been pretty quiet since then. Bakhtiari also making his debut today. He got the start but was rotating series to make sure he wasn't overdoing it. We still have a few minutes to go, actually the entire 4th quarter, as I believe that just got started, but I'll have full highlights and post-game coverage tonight at 10. And the Vikings hosting the Lions at US Bank Stadium, and the fans were loud this afternoon and ready to get after it early in this one. Lions already with a 7-0 lead after the 1st quarter. Then Jared Goff hooks up with TJ Hawkinson to give Detroit a 14-0 lead. But there's a lot of game left, and on the next drive, it's Cousins finding Adam Thielen wide open for the score. That's Thielen's 50th career touchdown. Still in the first half, Dalvin Cook, he's going to get the handoff here, and he's going to stretch this one all the way out to the pylon. He's going to get in for the score. It's tied going into the half. Second half, Lions in the red zone, and DeAndre Swift takes the handoff, bounces outside, and gets in for the score. Lions up 10. But Cook would actually go down with an injury, but Alexander Mattison is going to fight his way into the end zone. The Vikings still down 3, however. One last chance for the Vikings. Cousins scanning, looking, finding KJ Osborne wide open. The Vikings take the lead. They would go on and make the comeback 28-24. Vikings improved to 2-1 on the season. And rounding out the NFC North, the Bears looking for win number 2 against the Texans, and they got it on the last-second field goal. So the Bears start the season 2-1. The Brewers trying to stay hot against the Reds, staying in the hunt, 2nd inning. And speaking of staying hot, Hunter Renfroe, 2 home runs in yesterday's win, and here he is again, a solo shot, and the Brewers strike first. Now later in the game, It's tied at 1. Matt Bush pitching for the Brewers, but Spencer Steer's going to take him yard. A solo shot to center gives the Reds the lead, and that's how it would end. The Brewers drop a much-needed game, and if the Phillies end up pulling this one out, they're in extra innings right now. If they pull that out, they'll be 2.5 games out of that wild card spot. And the Padres, if they go on to win, which they should, the Brewers will be down 3 games behind them. The Brewers are off tomorrow, but then they've got 2 tough games against the Cardinals on Tuesday and Wednesday. Now that's all I have for sports, and we'll be right back.
Connect with us on Twitter at News8News. Or you can always find us at news8000.com.
There's case after case. Women working for Tim Michaels' construction company saying they were groped, sexually assaulted, and pressured to have sex with their bosses. When they resisted, they say they were threatened, called a liar, and forced to resign. And when co-workers spoke up, they were fired. If this is how Tim Michaels runs his business, how do you think he'd run the state? Tim Michaels' radical agenda is so very, very wrong.
The power to change your future is now. The SUVs are here. Be one of the first to drive a new Explorer, Bronco Sport, or Edge. Custom order your SUV today. Lock in 2.9% financing for 60 months, plus 500 retail order bonus cash on a new 2023 Ford Explorer, Bronco Sport, or Edge.
Derek Van Orden, former U.S. Navy SEAL. Over 20 years of active duty, defending America in hostile territory. 5 combat tours, hundreds of missions, sea, air, and land. Now, he's on the most important no-fail mission of his life.
Saving America for my grandchildren and yours.
Grandpa, we're just going to the park.
Yes, we are. You guys ready? Yeah! Derek Van Orden and I approve this mission and this message.
Perkins burger, fries, and pie combos are back, starting at just $10.99. Mix and match any of our 100% Angus beef burgers, like our barbecue Tangler burger, breakfast burger, and the all-new Smokehouse Bacon Double Cheeseburger, served with crispy fries and a slice of any of our famous Perkins pies. And don't forget to order seasonal treats from our bakery, like our fresh-baked pumpkin pies and muffins. Order online at perkinstogo.com.
One final look at the 8-day. We have temperatures staying in the 50s and 60s just in time for Oktoberfest weekend. Look at that. Temperatures staying in the mid to upper 60s. I think this gives a 2 thumbs up by Kate Overton. There you go.
Thank you so much for watching News 8 Now.